On occasion, you have a notes database that you may not be using anymore or that you need to give to someone who is offline, and you want to make an offline archive. So you need a high fidelity rendering of the documents and a navigatable view. So this is a database called Pinnacle East Products. It's got invoices and that sort of thing. We're just going to make an offline archive of this using the archive to disk sample database. And you'll see it has a few different views. We want some of these, although not all of them, because there are rather a lot. So we use the archive to disk sample, and there's an export directive. And in it, we first select the data to be archived, which is the database. And then let's go by view. We'll just do a single view's worth. We could do all the documents. And we'll pick which views we want to show up. And they'll only show the documents that are actually in those views. Select the target, which is basically where it's going to be. We'll have a general archive directory and we'll give it a name. And then we're going to archive to HTML. We don't need any correlated data. Correlated data would be like the item fields if you want to preserve those. And then there's some specialized settings, which you can just use the default. There's a custom design you can have for the launch page. Let's just allow the sample to do what it does normally. If we archive this, it's going to export each of the views, and then after it's created each of the views, it's going to actually export all the documents into the high fidelity HTML. So that when we look, we will have a launch page, which is a fairly simple launch page, but it has views and allows us to go and look at the different documents. So here we've got, it goes by the default view, which is all by state. We can also look at all orders by sales rep or all orders by unit. Let's look at one of the documents and see what it looks like. You notice it looks very much like it looks in Notes. So there we have it. We have a sort of instant archive, which can then be saved and with all the data available. Let's see what it looks like to create this, and let's just create a new directive, and we'll actually do this database itself, the archive database, because it's got a nice look to it. We tell it what database it is, and we'll just do the export directives view. We don't need any other views. Let's put it in that same base directory, which is the default we've set, and we'll call it archive.db. Just again, use the defaults. We're going to, we don't need a default, we'll just use the default launch page. We'll save it, we'll archive it, and we'll launch the archive database. It's a very small database, so it's very quick. And you'll see this is the document we just created, and there it is. And it looks very much like, it's got the radio buttons and everything the way you would in Notes, and that's what it takes.